but what kind of challenges you were having during that point of time? And first on the challenges, then how was your approach and how did you overcome it?
I think challenges though is part and parcel of being an entrepreneur, and how you overcome it is, I think, it's obviously the answer to that, I'm not going to give you an answer that this problem happened, this solution happened. I think just keeping up open mind, and I think being an engineer, having the biggest thing that engineering gives you is a problem solving mindset, and the root cause analysis, understanding why something is working, why something is not working, and figuring out the right solution for whatever problem that you have in hand. I'd say the biggest thing that you can have is that mindset of problem solving. And whether I was a student or even today, it's the same mindset that sort of helps me out solve a problem. So there are n number of problems that have come up throughout the time. When people, product, marketing problems, sales problems, politics within the organization, n number of things that you have to come up and you have to deal with. But I think it's the same open-minded approach, approaching it from a calm perspective, from a understanding perspective, not reactionary. I think a lot of times when something bad occurs, you react to it before you can solve it. So I think there's time to react also, definitely, but I think most of the cases is about objectively looking at problems and then trying to sort of figure out the best solution for it.
Yeah, rather than reaction, responding to it, taking your time to understand, analyze.
Correct. Understanding, because if you have that knee-jerk reaction to react and respond to something, it might not be the best case scenario. In some cases might, again, I'm not saying that there's some instinctive leaders also, but for most of us mortals, you have to sort of step back and understand, analyze, and then sort of put in. And I think that objectivity is also something that I wouldn't say that I've always had, but something that with mindfulness, with meditation, is something that I'm continuously trying to incorporate and involve into my thought process. Not taking things too emotionally, not taking things too personally, because again, entrepreneurship is a very involved process, right? There's no work-life balance per se. Everything is your company is your life, and you have to learn to sort of separate yourself sometimes and look at things objectively, solve problems objectively, because it becomes a mental health problem otherwise. So the mindset is important.
Problem solving skills, that kind of responsiveness. But I understand, along with all this kind of challenges, your organizational growth, which was very much important, in mid, you went for a Antarctica expedition. I mean, what made you to think like that? Okay, chalo, I have to do this. I think it's a different kind of a behavioral. You have to have a different kind of a mindset, body behaviors. You have to get adjusted to that kind of a cold environment, pre-preparations, a lot of activities. But how were you able to make that transition in between?
I think I am a thrill seeker in a way. Sometimes when things get boring at work or in general in life, I really like to see just what else is there, and sometimes I'll just take these decisions. And this was somebody was posting about this expedition to Antarctica, and I'm like, I want to go to Antarctica.
Okay, give us to me and to my audiences, what was one takeaway of your whole journey of that Antarctica?
Realizing how small, not only how small I am, but how small humanity as a whole is. It's just that in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. We don't matter. I don't matter. We're one day going to die, and the universe will forget us, and the world will just continue to exist. And all we can do while we are here, while we are alive, is I think find joy in being alive, in giving this opportunity to be on this world, and also realizing that it is an incredibly beautiful world that we live in, and make the most out of this opportunity by being, let's say, kind to one another, good to one another, and also to the environment and all the animals that we have in the world. And I think that is the core takeaway that I took back from Antarctica.
Okay. I think very interesting to know, and especially to digest ourselves, your kindness towards the ecosystem and your the egoless attitude, which will I think, yes, this is all connected for organizational growth, making your perspective much more bigger, wider. Yeah, that I think fantastic. I think that journey also added a lot of value within you and gave one more perspective for your vision of an organization. That's really nice to know about, Vijay.
Thank you.
That's fantastic journey. So Vijay, tell us one incident which made you totally crushed, felt disastrous, and how did you overcome it? Anything, it could be professional, personal, either one.
Wow. I mean, yeah, I mean, there've been a few instances in like that in my life. I think if you look at the recent past, post the pandemic, I think generally that time was extremely difficult. Not just in terms of how you keep the company alive and all of that. Not really. I think we did really well from that perspective during the pandemic. But my co-founders who I built the company with, we had to part ways, and they had other sort of visions for their future, and sort of we did not really see the same way in terms of the growing in the company. So I think that broke me, that these two people that I thought had the same vision of growing this company, on the future that I see for 3D printing and its role that it plays in global manufacturing is not the same with them. And I think doubt sets in, self-confidence issue sets in, whether I can do it on my own without these people. So there was a lot of things that I was going through during that period of time. I mean, seriously looked at closing down the organization. I think not the first time, but definitely the most serious I've been when it comes down to closing down the organization. And I think that at that point I was at my lowest. Like, I've never been lower in terms of confidence in my abilities, or being afraid of what people think about me and all of that, and what people thinking about the organization, all of what even the aspect of closing down the company. It was like I am breaking the trust of so many customers that have invested in our machines. How we're going to support them, what is going to happen to them. So all of those things sort of kept playing in my mind. So do you keep going, do you not keep going, what do you do? It was just too much sort of burden at that point in time.
Okay.
And I think that was the lowest point in my life.
Yeah, I'm very sorry for that. I am very sorry. And so how were you able to stand firmly and make a decision? Yes, I was going to continue.
I think it again goes back to what I was saying earlier when it comes down to root cause analysis, having the right mindset. I think at its core, I might sit in a corner and cry for a couple of days, but I think at its core, I am a fighter. I ask myself, have I done the best of my abilities for this company? Is there more that I can do? Have I done all the work that is possible to do to build this company? And the answer was no, that I did not put my best out, that there is still more that I had to give. And I'm like, okay, fine, let me just do that. I only promise to do the work. I'll see what happens. And I think just that mindset of me coming back and with that thought process of just putting in the work, I think inspired everybody else in the company. And I think what interesting thing was happening, everybody has stayed in the company along with me. Just even took up entrepreneurial roles, took up managerial roles. They just took things a lot more seriously. They were not just employees anymore. And I like working with people like that, and I love that culture of that of work that sort of brings along with it. I love that multiple people are thinking from an entrepreneurial perspective of building this organization. And we were speaking off camera about this, right? What is a company? Like, company is nothing but the sum of the people that are working for it. And ultimately, when everybody's thinking big, everybody's thinking that okay, fine, this is the mission and vision that we want to go. We want to really build this company really big, and I think that is infectious. That spreads, and that really, I think we all saw a big jump in the company from then. Weirdly enough, when we saw the company would go down because poor people in the team have left. But I think it was just changing of mindsets that happened over there. Not thinking small anymore and not being bound by that, and knowing that you put in the work, something will happen. If you put in your best effort to do whatever that you can, and when something is not working out, it's very easy to give up, saying that I've done the work, but it's not. But have you done the best that you can? Have you really looked at the problem and tried your best? And I think I go back to sort of the Bhagavad Gita on this when it comes down to being a karmachari. Just thinking about the work and not thinking about what will come out of it. Like at that point in time, it's not about whether if I put the work in, with the company will be successful, not successful, not. But did I do my best? Have I put in the work? Answer
I
was
think
no.
one point which I would like to dissect here is most of the people, we are not authentic to our own self. Like, what is my own strength? What is that I can do? They are two faces probably sometimes. But you understanding your own, what is that you have done? What is the best you have put in? And taking that stand, a strong hand into it. I think that emotionally probably would have binded all the employees, move ahead aggressively into the market and get this company running. I mean, hats off to you, the way you have built this organization and the engagement which I could see, the ecosystem here, it's really fantastic.